Hi everyone, this is a new session where we continue our OpenAI sessions. Now, I don't know where everyone's at, seem to be falling asleep, but we're going to continue anyway. Just before I get started, I want to just kind of announce a couple of things. Over the weekend, Gudmundur published a library, which is the zero point 0.4 version of this. So if you go to OpenAI, search up OpenAI, and if you look at, we're getting really close on the second page here. So if you look at this one here, you have the version 0.4, right? And 0.4 comes in with the retrieve model by name capability. So if you have models, remember the discussion that we had before, oh, we need to retrieve a model and we don't know what are the available models, or we want to get a model, a specific model by name. This is going to be the way to do something like that. Now, with that being said, the library is almost approaching very, kind of steadily about 648 downloads. I'm looking at the stats here real quick. It's not doing too bad. Like, the longer you stay on a release, the more and more downloads are happening. And we're going to talk a little bit about, how, we're going to leverage this library. There's so many different cases. Like just before this stream, I was sitting with a couple of friends and they're thinking about, an idea, about estimation and, kind of managing, certain businesses and how AI can really bring the chaos into order. Whatever is coming from the outside world, it brings that chaos right into that order, and that's one of the most powerful things about AI that we'll be able to leverage as we go forward. So anyway, the library's out. There is a new version out there. Thanks, Gudmundur, for doing the work there. We'll continue to kind of, slowly tread on some of the most difficult problems, but for the time being, this is a feature that people can use today. Now, let's just go to the code here real quick, and let's do this. So the last thing that we had here is an orchestration services. Of course, all of this is kind of pending on top of the RESTful Sense API. So, if this doesn't get resolved, shortly, I'll just jump in and go finish the task myself. It's not going to be a big problem. The last thing we did here is the should upload file async. We have, a bunch of passing tests, and we need to start handling exceptions, right? So, if you're passing in a parameter, we want to make sure that whatever you're passing in is in the right format. So we're just going to take care of that right away. So let me just kind of jump straight into the orchestration service here. I hope the screen is good. Feel free to drop a comment if you have any questions. Yeah, there's the thing. So we're passing in an AI file, and we want to basically run a validation. We want to make sure that this AI file is in the right format. So I'm going to go ahead into the models area. Under services, we have foundations in here. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it orchestrations. And under orchestrations, I'm going to create a AI files folder. And then under that, we want to add in the exceptions, right? And I'm going to create a quick exception in there. I'm going to call it null AI file orchestration exception. Hey, dude.
Hello.
15 minutes, huh? Okay, cool. All right. So Elbic is joining us, and Elba, I'm gonna give you a failing test real quick, and then we're gonna get off the ground with this one real fast. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Good. Let's see here. Is it picking up the right microphone, Astro? Yeah, cool, cool. All right, so let's do this. So here's my constructor. This guy doesn't take uh, uh, any input parameters, doesn't take an error exception or anything, and we're just gonna go say AI file is null. It doesn't talk about, so the message itself doesn't talk about where it is because that's internal information. It's not something that we're supposed to expose to the outside world. Just keep that in mind. In addition to that, we want an AI file orchestration validation exception. There you go. Here's my guy, and then here is the exception like this. And we said we're gonna make some of these public. So the internal issues might be private, the external might be public. We'll think about that later. So here's a CTOR. This guy takes an exception as an inner exception. And then here is my base. And this is AI file validation error occurred, fix errors, try again. There you go. And here's my inner exception. Here you go. Control KA, clean it up, and then I need a test in here. So in this area here, now this is massive test that we, a couple of different cases that we had fun with last time. Now I want to create a validation test like this. So here is my, so in addition to logic, I'm going to say validations upload. And inside this guy, I'm basically going to go ahead and say, here is control MO. And here is a fact, public async task should throw validation exception on upload if file is null. Async. It's about 83 characters. We should be in good shape here. Control KE cleans up that stuff real quick. And then let's pretend that that we have given when then. We have so this is null file, null AI file, like this. And what's the exception here? We expect that we're gonna get null AI file orchestration validation exception. New null AI file orchestration validation exception. Orchestration exception, like this. And then inside that guy, we also expect expected AI file orchestration validation exception. So new AI file orchestration validation exception. It will take that null AI file as an input parameter. Someone was asking this question the other day in the channel. Someone was saying, um, why are we doing this localization categorization? Elbic, do you want to kind of chime in and tell people why we do that stuff?
Yeah. Um, so let's talk about the client as a RESTful API, right? And the RESTful API, by nature, has these categories of responses. So that you have 400 responses, 500 responses, and you have 200s, right?
Mm-hmm,
And and whenever we are throwing meaningful exception, we want
mm-hmm,
to map it to correct form of uh, 400 error, for example.
mm-hmm,
And if we want to do it without categorization,
mm-hmm,
we need to handle a lot of exceptions on our client code. However,
mm-hmm.
when we categorize, when we wrap our exception one time, we can handle that category and return inner exceptions on our client layer.
Right,
So that reduces a lot of extra effort on the client side. However,
right.
there's a trade-off. You need to do a little more on your business side, business service side.
Right, right. And you know what? Something that Rahul Monk mentioned the other day, which I really also appreciate, was, hey, there is a kind of if you allow these exceptions to propagate upstream, that means that upstream in your business logic and your service, you're going to be tightly coupled with you'll be very tightly coupled with external models, external exceptions. Like if imagine if you're hooking up, if you're letting your controller handle SQL exception and you decide to switch over to Cosmos, what
Yeah,
happens,
yeah.
right? It becomes a real problem, right?
Hmm.
So that's the trick there. That's the situation that we're dealing with here. So okay, so this is service. What do we have read file. Read file. It is. Hold on. It is any string like that, and this should be called nonce. So that's never. And then also we have another one, which is the AI file we want to verify. Here's our service, and service dot upload file. It is any AI file, that guy will also be called never. So these are two files that will be called never. And then here's verify no other calls, this dot local file, verify no other calls. We usually call the local file first. I think we should be in a good state here. Let me clean this up a little bit. Can I do this? Uh, I think it's okay. It doesn't have a Billy. It's not too much. It should be okay. What up, Parker? Parker's been
Hey,
hiding from us.
yeah.
Okay. Let's run this and see what the deal is. How you doing, Brian? Good? All good?
Been keeping busy actually.
Yeah, a little busy? Okay. Okay, cool. Let's see here. Something is up with my let's see here. Just kind of making sure that this test fails. 64 gigs of RAM and I have to wait 10 seconds for a test to run. It's ridiculous.
Still showing off.
Absolute, absolute sadness. Please fail. All right. Go ahead, Elbic. Take it. Take it while interrogate Brian. What up, Brian? What's tripping in the woods? What's happening? Tell me.
Been putting a big effort in RESTful Sense, as you know.
Okay.
So
And
I'm at the
all
stage of
published, all running, all good?
now all the processing services are done. I need to do one more thing, which is the orchestration, and we're
Okay.
done.
All right. Just if you create any pull requests, anything like that, I already told Elbic to keep an eye on things. He went in and cleaned up a couple of things.
Yep,
I think we have a couple of sessions. I'll try to slow us down a little bit on this orchestration service. Maybe we can go all the way up to the client.
yep,
But we could do Gudmundur and these other guys a favor and kind of give them the pass through they were looking for because they should be. Let's see here with upload file, they should have also the privilege of doing read upload file. Oh, that's the private. Okay. What was the service that these guys did and they needed to merge in with us? Uh, I thought they maybe we have to merge on this. This is the orchestrations. This is the foundation service. AI file orchestration service. And then if I go into the AI file service, yeah, there's a remove file by ID async. So we might need to do these guys a favor and just kind of do the propagation for them as well. Okay, Brian, get ready. You're gonna be writing code today with us.
Oh,
What do you think?
re- yeah, not yet. Just give me a
Hey,
sec.
you better bring up your Visual Studio. We're getting back in the game.
I've been writing code all weekend.
What?
I've been writing code half the weekend. Like really.
Yeah, you gotta write code today too. It's a problem. No, I tell you the truth. Like, this last weekend, probably finish it the next weekend. I have a really fun thing that I've been playing around with that, it teaches me a new technology, but also at the same time, I think something that software engineers will really enjoy. Gonna make a nice bang on the internet. I haven't talked to anyone about this except the fictitious characters that live in my head. You know, they look a lot like me, talk, and act like me. You know, we had a little discussion in the standard community today with Paul and Callum. I don't know if you guys caught up on that, but we were talking about did end functions and stuff like that. I couldn't seem to make people understand what I was going for there. But we definitely need to upgrade our internal mock. Lucky for us, there are no did-end functions in this because the library, it's all integrations. A library like this, it's all nothing but integrations. But try something like this in OData. It's really a dead end. It's the end of the road. It basically stops right there. Um, you will run into little functions that don't have any dependencies. I think Monk brought this up and he illustrates it very well. He basically said you could have a hybrid. Well, the service has external dependencies, um, but not not every function in it needs to call an external dependency. So some of it does, some of it doesn't. Very interesting, kind of theory around the standard and the concepts that the standards try to enforce. It's good stuff. Oh, one of the other things, Elbic, is that if you have an upstream service that needs to do a rollback or do a decision based on an exception that you're throwing, and you're entangling that with an external model, or even worse, entangling that with a local model, you created entanglement, you created spaghetti code, but also at the same time you've basically caused your system to be unmaintainable, completely unmaintainable. That was the other thing. I don't know where Kailu is, but probably got caught up in something. Okay.
Excuse me.
Oh, good.
So what did you fellows get up to on the weekend?
A lot of things. A lot of things. For the most part, like other than that project, I was basically kind of trying to I figured out a way, you know how we provision our infrastructure in C sharps instead of using Terraform or any of these things, you could just write C sharp code that takes your existing ASP.NET Core app and put it in the cloud. One of the things that I was trying to do is instead of having to reconstruct the connection string of an Azure Service Bus queue and Elbic, I think we need that in Git file. Instead of constructing that, we can get it. We can actually get that value from that API. It's such a disappointment that Microsoft is sunsetting this library and moving on to other libraries like that. Fluent library is very extremely powerful. It is what it is, right? So, Elbic, what did you throw? Can you go back to your code real quick? So you caught
AI
null
file.
AI file orchestration exception AI file. Can you go to your validation? The actual
Oh,
first.
sorry.
Oh, you
Yeah,
didn't use it to try catch. Yep, yep.
yeah.
That's kind of important. Yep. 5 days, son. 5 days, and you'll eat food again. You'll be just fine. You won't be able to even
Yeah.
attend these meetings. You'll be sleepy and tired, and
No,
like
I'll be good.
I ate too much. I can't do anything.
All
It's
right.
crazy. It's crazy how when you're running low on food, how much hours, like, in the last couple of weeks, I was doing three hours of sleep. I've never done that. Usually it's 4. I've been doing 3 hours of sleep and waking up just like crazy, just bouncing back up. Please don't try this at home. It's a bad idea. But it's definitely crazy how food kind of wails on you, kind of makes it harder for you to, keep going, gets you tired very quick.
Did I write the failing test?
Yeah, you need
Right.
to write a failing test. That's how it works. Pair programming.
Yeah. So failing test for null request, right?
No, no, no. Go to your orchestration service real quick.
Oh yeah.
So what do we use? What do we need? It looks like the only thing we need here, do you see that read upload file async?
Read upload like this. Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like in some cases, when the content is already present, watch this because this is going to be really tricky. Again, orchestration servers are going to burn a lot of brain power. So it looks like in some cases, let's start with the easy case. Do you see this? Do you see when the content is already an object on line 33?
Mhm.
This is where we say our validations here are done because we're not doing anything other than just validating that this AI file is good,
Mhm.
right? But here's where it gets tricky. We should not run this validation if the content is already present,
Mhm.
but we should run this validation if the content is not present. The
Okay.
additional validations that we need to do then would be that the request is not null. That's a
Yeah.
circuit breaker. And
Yeah.
then underneath that, that the name is not null, empty, or white space, right?
And the content. Okay. Yeah. Content is null.
Nope,
Yeah.
nope, nope.
We
Don't
read
worry
the
about the
string.
content. Yep, yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, if the content is null, if the
It
content
goes
is null, then we need to validate for request and name.
name. Okay. Got it.
Let's go.
So the first thing would be then to validate the request is not null, right?
Yes. And that's a circuit breaker, right? That's where we
Sure.
just tap out immediately. So are you gonna throw a null AI file request exception, or are you
Let's
gonna make that a validation detail?
yeah, let's do it validation detail. So
Good. That's the right answer. I was testing you. Brian, get ready. You gotta make it pass. No?
so,
Brian is like, I wrote too much code. I don't
Yeah,
want to write any more code.
I'm fatigued. And you laugh because I know you pump out lots of code.
I will not say how much code I write. You just go to my GitHub repository on the profile and hover over the last couple of days and you'll understand. Doesn't look good. I think up to 53 pull requests or something like that. You guys don't understand. This is like the chill out. This is me like saying, oh, okay. Let's sit down, take it easy, take it slow. Let's just do things together. Hold our hands, walk down the road, you know. It's all bunnies and rainbows out there in the sky. Hmm.
I think you're lacking sugar.
Sugar right here. I don't know what this is. I think it's a worm. But here comes the sugar. A sugar rush. Oh, Gregory has a question. What was prettier than line 33 that we discussed? We'll get to it. Let's get that test to pass and I'll tell you. Thought you'd never ask. I'm surprised Elbic never asked.
not mine since I don't have the answer yet. That's why I didn't ask.
I'll tell you some. I'll tell you some clues. Because you can't just give the answer. You're gonna have to look for it. Because it feels much better when we kind of work towards something and then get to the end of it. Okay. Yeah.
The key I'll pass
That'd
name
be your
on
request, right? Mhm.
yeah, file request value. Say object is required.
Value is required is fine. Actually, object is required. I'm sorry. You're right.
All right. And here say valid AI.
Okay.
Just like this.
Yes, sir. Okay. So break line 69. Take that parameter to the next line.
Yeah, let me fix this real quick.
Okay, cool.
Which line? 69,
69.
right?
Wined and dined and 69. Oh, well, that'll ban my YouTube video forever.
Yeah, I guess it has proper failing. So what
Good.
we expected is that and
Yep.
object is reference. Okay.
Yep. To make sure that the this name says async at the end.
I see.
Should throw validation exception upload if request is null. Good. Yep. Ship it. Brian, let's go. Do you have Visual Studio installed? Let's go.
I think I have.
Okay, good. Let's do it. Uh, all right. All right, Mr. Elbick. Okay. Here comes Parker. He jumps, he dunks, he scores.
Make sure I got it all.
Elbick, did you say something to make Kailu not show up? What did you say to him?
No.
No? Okay. Cool, cool. Cool, 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 cool. Elbick, Elbick. Elbick Moradov, right? Normoradov.
Yes.
Normoradov, okay.
Yes.
Cool. Do you know this guy Hezbollah? I know, different country. Don't start with
Yes.
we're not all the same thing. I get it.
Yeah.
He's so
Yeah, I know.
funny. He's a funny guy. I also like this chef. I think his name is this Turkish chef.
Jazan.
Is that his
Burak.
name? Yeah,
Jazan Burak.
Burak. Yeah, he's when the earthquake happened in Turkey, it was really heartbroken. He was helping people and stuff. He's all right. He's all right. Okay, Brian. What's tripping in the woods?
I probably need to visit him when I visit Turkey.
Yeah,
I remember he's lucky.
yeah. Say hi to him. He's a good guy. He helps a lot of people. Okay. So ideally, by the end of this year, we're gonna have GPT-5. It's gonna be fun and interesting.
Have you heard of Chaos GPT?
Chaos. I heard about Auto GPT, which does people's jobs for them. Auto
No.
GPT, like they run it. So Auto GPT was going super viral on Twitter, for a couple of days now. It went crazy, and the guy was basically showing, it answers Teams calls, Slack messages. It's writing the code, it's writing the emails. So he picked up the component, that Chat GPT AI component, OpenAI component, and he gave it access to the applications that he usually would use on daily basis, and he's putting it on monitoring, right? And he just said to it, hey, consider yourself a software engineer working the day. And he basically just see, that's the thing. Nobody went and did this. It was a software engineer that did this to themselves. That's the thing. Just keep an eye on that one, because that pattern is quite interesting. Just the fact that people are thinking in that particular. So they called it Auto GPT, and they're thinking, oh, maybe I could have 2, 3 jobs because
So
I didn't have to answer any of these.
you're already catching this, Elbeck? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but the exception that he's throwing is not that one, right? Which exception is he throwing?
That's the next test.
That's probably why I'm having trouble with
Yeah,
it. Oh dear.
and it could be
Mm.
great to zoom in a little for people
Yeah,
with their
yeah,
phones.
just a little zoom, Brian. There you go. Now we can see stuff.
Wow. So you're throwing this one?
No.
No. Orchestration.
This one that you're pointing at is the category exception.
Yeah.
So where is...
Yeah,
There you go. You're gonna need the business rules engine for this one. Just heads up.
What's it? Yep. Sorry. I am very fatigued. And
Okay.
yeah. Um,
We'll wait all night. You're gonna write a passing test today. You can be tired all you want.
yeah. Thank you.
You're on the stream. You're gonna write code.
Just
That's
make
just
it
how it
worse, my
works.
friend. Yeah.
There is a
How about
reason why certain people don't show up on that stream anymore. Because if you show up, you're gonna write code. I'm not gonna put you in front of 12,000 people. What? 12,000 people, 500. And we'll just, I mean, look, we could dress up and look pretty, and that's it for the show. But unfortunately, that's not what we're doing. Uh, this stream content is exclusive to people who write code. We could sing. I just don't know if people would subscribe to that. I don't know if anybody would put money in my hat if I start singing. So I don't know. Mm. Okay, Brian. So where's the business rule engine, right? We need a business rules engine, right?
he doesn't have one?
Yeah, we need to make one. Do you know how to make one of these off the top?
No, not off the top of my head. Last time Albert had to help me.
Well, the good news is there are other services that have the same thing. So just go digging. So Elbek, how are things in Uzbekistan these days? Were fun? They're having fun.
I don't know. The weather is getting crazy.
It's the
You
same
know,
thing here, dude. We didn't have spring here. It's always raining and glooming and gloomy, and there's no sun for us in here.
yeah.
What's happening?
Look, look. The other weekend we had boiling weather. 39
Mm-hmm.
degrees, and
Mm-hmm.
then and then yesterday and today we have freezing cold.
Yep.
I don't know why it's happening.
Today we had rain, we had high wind, gloomy weather, super cold. I was like, hey, we're about to enter May. What's happening in here? It's almost like the world is changing, you know,
Yeah,
and things around us are changing really fast. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's quite interesting times. This you should see, the weather prediction computation is some of the most massive and most expensive. Like these weather stations. Do you know why people care so much about weather prediction? Take one wild guess. Like why would an entire country invest in a supercomputer like the Jaguar Supercomputer, like you're talking a computer that has 130,000 CPUs. 130,000 CPUs. Can you believe this? Right? Why do they care? Why do you think they care about these things? Just take one wild guess.
I guess the agriculture.
So it's definitely not to make sure that the weather app is working on iPhones. They don't care about that. But actually predicting weather could save lives.
Yeah.
Like for instance, in places like Texas, Florida, these places, if there is a hurricane coming, Gregory says agriculture. That's right. Um, if there is a weather, I don't know if you heard about the hurricanes that come, here in the U.S. They, some of it destroy an entire, it takes just half a state. We had, Katrina, we had a bunch of hurricanes that just literally pulls the entire house out and tosses it out. A lot of people become homeless in like a day, right? So weather prediction could actually save lives. Something crazy like this is happening and you're calculating its direction. Like imagine how many variables. It's like this angry bull, right? And it's running whatever it wants to run. And by the way, more often than not, they're wrong. They get it wrong. Even with all the super computation that is in place, you don't know where it's going. Too many variables, right? So that's one aspect of it. It could really like if they didn't know about something like this coming and if they couldn't warn people and to have people evacuate earlier, all of these people would be dead. They'd just be dead, right? And some people still die from these hurricanes. Some people be like, oh, it's the Weather Channel. What do they know, right? They're never wrong, stuff like that, right? Or they're never right or stuff like that. So, uh, that's what I was talking about. Some of these things you'll see people kind of put a lot of time and effort and invest because it's hardware and software and you need to have knowledge about the weather, geology, what's changing, how what does that impact? In fact, actually, I saw some companies make a living out of that. I'll tell you about it in a second. Let me just read Gregory's comment. Used to a prediction in the farmers, yeah, prior to modern computing. Prediction in farmers almanacs,
Almanac.
almanac. Is that what it is? Interesting.
Almanac.
Almanac. Yeah. What the heck is that? Almanac. So, um, the Old Farmer's Almanac is an almanac containing weather forecasts, planting charts, astronomical data, recipes, and articles. Topics include gardening. So, is it like a newspaper or something? Is that what it is? Or a calendar?
Like
Trying
a
to look
how to, like a schedule, how to
like a
do,
schedule.
how to plan
Yeah,
your year out,
yeah.
how to plan your crops out and seasons out.
So let me tell you the other thing why people, put a lot of time and effort and money into these predictions and calculations because let's say you're buying a property, right? And the area has a prediction that it is susceptible to earthquakes or, hurricanes and stuff like that. You're not going to buy a land there. You're not going to build a house there. It's high risk, right? The folks that do insurance and give loans and stuff like that care a lot about that. Be like, well, this is a high risk region. If we give you a loan to build in this area and we know this area has, reoccurring earthquakes, reoccurring hurricanes, reoccurring, natural disasters, you're not going to be able to pay that.
Hmm.
So it impacts in so many different ways, dude. Like I can't even begin to tell you, how crazy this is. It's a business on its own, right? And now with this AI stuff and all that, it's going to get smarter and smarter.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're just dealing with way too many variables beyond what a human toaster, a computer can handle. It's too many things happening at the same time. It's crazy.
Why have I got a red squiggly here, Elbic?
I guess because it's not static. The line 21.
Oh, yeah.
Try making it static. Okay.
Okay, there it is. Brian, you made it. I think.
I think.
But are you throwing the right invalid exception?
I wonder. Let's see. Is it copy pasta? Let's scroll down and see. Brian, what exception are you throwing?
Most of it's copy pasta.
Invalid AI filed exception. Yeah, that's not the right one. But which one do we need to throw? What up, Kay? Kay's a
Yeah,
manager.
time. Yep.
Kay's a manager, man. He comes in his own time. What happened? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. As long as you're good, that's all that matters. Okay, Kay. Okay. Object reference is not set. So what's missing, Brian? Did you actually call this method that does the validation?
Believe so.
You're in the foundation service here.
Oops.
Okay. Hmm. Says actual expected AI orchestration validation exception. So what's missing there?
I didn't wrap it.
Yep, we didn't catch it and wrap it. That's right. Okay.
Oops. Where did that go? Trying to work out where my unit test went. What did I throw? I throw it.
So what is the exception that we're catching?
Yeah, it just went out of my head. I was just looking for it on the unit test.
Hmm.
Where that one?
Ilbik, have you ever heard the term, you know, John didn't smell the coffee? You know what that means?
No,
What
it
about you,
doesn't mean.
Kay? What about you, Kay? Have you heard that one before?
No, I have not.
Yeah, they smell the coffee meaning take something seriously. Like, it's an idiom. Wake up and smell the coffee. And I think it's a little older English, but I saw someone posting it on Facebook today, so I went ahead and I'm a little kind of obsessed with learning about terminology that's beyond language, right? So I think they were talking about Google, coming super, super late to the AI game, right? And the guy left a comment there. He said, "Well, Google definitely didn't smell the coffee." And I was like, "Wait a second, what does that mean?" So I went to look it up, and there's actually an idiom that says, "Wake up and smell the coffee." An example of it, like he thinks he'll be together with his ex girlfriend again, but she's engaged to marry another man. He needs to wake up and smell the coffee. Like to be more realistic about a situation, no matter how unpleasant it is. I thought it was a pretty interesting term to use. Wake up and smell the coffee. Interesting. I saw also people say something like, you need to read the writing on the wall. Need the writing on the wall. Can you guess what that means? Hey, you need to read the writing on the wall.
Uh, you need to withstand the truth, or face the truth.
In a way, it's a little, it's more like, hey,
You got to read
we,
the room.
yeah, read the room. We've been giving you signs about things. You need to read the
Mm,
writing on the wall. You know, there's also another one. Speaking of walls, there's also another interesting one to say, let's just see what sticks. Throw spaghetti on the wall and just see what sticks. Meaning
mm,
try different things and see which one actually works. It's like it illustrates the process of trial and error.
mm,
You know, I think it comes from, I don't know if is it the people that make spaghetti, they know whether it's fully cooked or not. They throw it on the wall, and if it sticks to the wall, that means it's fully cooked or something like that. I don't remember where that came from, but yeah,
Yeah,
let's just try different. Go ahead, go ahead.
if you pass as al dente, if you throw it against the wall, it should stick to it.
That's right. That's right. Okay, what is this guy saying? Expected the inner exception data to match, but found. Did not expect. That's Christo for you right there.
yeah.
Yeah, key AI file. That's his stuff right there. That son of a gun. He's very smart. So, Brian, let's go back to your business rules engine real quick.
Oops.
So you're saying AI file, but what Elbic put in his tests was AI file request, right?
West. Yeah.
Line 18.
I'm not sure which one to.
Line 18. After the name of, he basically said the name of. Go back to the test, Brian. Let's just take a look at the test. The test has the documentation. Like the answer is in the test itself.
Never.
See?
What am I looking at?
Line 64, 65.
See what he did there?
So is it the whole thing?
I think so.
Doesn't make sense. Oops.
You could just remove the period. Oh, Brian, just keep both and remove the period.
Here.
No, and wherever you were, just remove the period. That's it.
Where's that object coming from?
It's the nested model, right?
Alright. Yep.
Expected to find key AI file request with value object is required. But found. Dang, really, Crystal really fixed that library. Oh my God. So what's it say, Brian? It's giving you exactly the answers. In the past, do you remember, Kailu? It didn't tell us anything. But look now, it tells you here's the keys. They found this key, but it has the answer, blah blah.
It is great. It's
Yeah,
great.
he really upped it up. He really did that. He did an extension for should be equivalent to. He basically overrode fluent validations extensions, and he did that little piece. It's beautiful. I love it. Mm.
So it's expecting a parameter name of that.
Right. What's the difference? Let's read the message together again. What's the message say?
Expect to define key AI file request with values.
Mm-hmm. But found?
Value is required. So
What's the difference?
there is no value being provided. Objective is required. Yep.
Copy pasta.
Yeah.
Okay, let's fix it.
So this is meant to be object is required.
That's what the test says. Yep. Okay, that should hopefully do the trick. Where are we at now? 82 tests? Oh my lord. Beautiful. Okay, Brian, you made it. Great. Let's commit that. Elbic, you have a couple of code drop tasks in there. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Last few months. Yep.
So you have the name. The name is validation. You have the in uppercase, but also you have the business rules engine always goes all the way to the bottom. Okay, Brian, you can commit that one. What I want from you really is just to write a. This is just for our next session because we're almost at the hour. Write a failing test for Kailu for tomorrow that basically throws a validation exception if the name is null, empty, or white space. So AI file.request.name, if that name is null, empty, or white space, we throw an exception.
So yeah, that's like homework. We're doing that now. Yep.
No, that's your homework.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's connect tomorrow, guys. I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Take
All
care.
right. Take
Thank you
care.
all. Take care.